Welcome to another episode of the Online Prosperity Experience podcast. You're about to hear your host, Prosper Taravinga's powerful digital marketing strategies and actionable tactics that you can use right now. Prosper has helped more than 50,000 people from over 10 countries to create meaningful businesses that are profitable and enjoyable. Listen to this podcast so that you too can build your own business with less stress and overwhelm. Let's get started.
When you feel like you've tried everything, but your marketing problems still are not improving. I hear you, man. I hear you. It's not easy when you are relying on your business to put food on the table and to actually maybe pay rent and make a life out of it. It can be disheartening. But I know if you're passionate about doing the work that you're meant to be doing and living an inspired life while you're doing it, now you're in the right place, my friend. My name is Prosper, and my mission is to help coaches and consultants like you build a brand that they're proud of and create a lifestyle that you love. So you might be wondering what we're talking about today. We're going to be talking about simple ways to actually research your target market, especially when you feel like you've tried everything and your marketing message still is not hitting the mark. Okay. Now, I understand it can be discouraging and confusing, big situation to be in, especially when you feel like you've tried everything to improve your marketing, but success or even just some sort of initial encouraging feedback still eludes you. You probably have no idea what you're doing wrong, and just that no matter what you are trying to do, you can't even make any headway, especially when it comes to generating leads and actually creating a business that's profitable and enjoyable. And the specific area or the skill set where a lot of people struggle varies. But in this podcast, we're going to be talking about the simple ways to actually research your target market. Because once you find and discover who your target market, it makes it super easy to determine how you're going to show up in the marketplace, where you're going to be showing up, crafting the specific messages that target market actually resonates with. And you can actually be speaking to the right kind of people with the right kind of pain, with the specific problems that your solutions can actually help you, help them solve. And you literally can, lessen the amount that you need to spend reaching out to these audiences, because once you have established yourself as the go-to person within your niche, they would actually be seeking you out, and you won't have to spend that much money to reach out to them. Okay, because right now you could be like a few of the people that end up coming to me, cold calling potential clients and having them hang up in your face, or you're probably sending out hundreds of emails without even getting as much as, hey, thank you so much for reaching out, and you're wasting thousands of dollars on ad spend without even generating any qualified leads. And like I said earlier on, it actually starts feeling like nobody wants to buy what it is that you're selling. And if you actually rely on your business to to pay for rent and put food on the table, it may actually put an enormous strain on your emotion, and you're now terrified to have to maybe return to some sort of 9-to-5 job with your tail tucked between your legs if you can't bring in any new clients. And at the end of the day, once you know who it is that you are reaching out to, it makes a whole lot easier for you to actually start crafting the messages that you can use to reach out to these people, because your ultimate goal is to know intensely what you want your target market to ask you to do for them. And you just keep repeating that process for each and every one of them that comes your way. All right. So when you research your target market, this is probably one of the most important things you can do, especially when you're starting your service-based business as a coach, a consultant. And also, you need to keep refining this target audience, because maybe when you started, it was when mass marketing was still prevalent, when you need to know exactly historical data of people that would have purchased your kind of product before got into the market, or you could have purchased this information, where you probably have email addresses of people that are left-handed and that are red-haired, that are 18 to 25-year-old males that actually tend to buy your coaching or training or information from people like you in the past. Or maybe these people are right-handed blondes that are 35 to 45-year-old, and they're usually of a female denomination. That doesn't work anymore. We now live in small communities that are run by content and context. So what are you doing in order for you to be able to reach out to your target audience without you spraying and praying with your marketing where people are not actually listening to you? And I can imagine, as an entrepreneur, marketing and all this social media is just one small aspect of running a successful business. You go from hiring and managing new staff, balancing books, driving growth, and a whole lot more. And it all feels like it's a constant balancing act where you're pulled in multiple different directions all at once. At the end of the day, I understand your real goal is to help your clients, but you need to know who they are. You need to know who it is that you are seeking to help and what it is exactly that you're going to be helping them with. You know what I mean? You want to spend as much time as possible changing people's lives and solving people's problems. And I know you don't want to waste countless hours each week trying to navigate this whole world of online marketing. And you certainly don't want to spend yet another minute on the phone having to beg people to hire your services. Fortunately, you do not have to if you know exactly who your target market is. Okay. And in this podcast, we're going to be running through 10 simple ways that you can actually start using to find the right kind of people with the right kind of pain so that you can deliver your message to them cheaper, better, faster. Okay. So researching your target market is probably one of the most important things that you can actually do when you're starting your coaching or consulting or service-based small business. You need to understand what their biggest pain points are, what they're struggling with, and what they would pay top dollar for in order to get away from that pain. You know what I mean? Because if you really understand your target market, you should know that people are looking for solutions that will actually make them happier, richer, thinner, better than other people. Do you actually have a clear future that they want to buy, not exactly the features of what it is that you are selling? All right. And if you understand that, you would definitely win their hearts, and you'll be able to create for and relate to. All right. So you need to understand what they need and want from your type of business, not just showing up with things that you assume that they're looking for. And you need to understand where they are so you can reach out to them and engage them. That is simple marketing, when you're literally passing on your message to an audience that is willing and able to then do something about that message. And we're all hoping that these people will come and buy either your consulting, your training, your information, your expertise, or your paid speaking gigs. All right. But I know you may be wondering, where do I start? What sort of actions can I take, especially when it comes to researching your target market? You're probably thinking you have to walk around with a clipboard asking people what it is that they want and why they're coming to buy from you. In other words, yes, you can do that, but there's simple ways that you can actually conduct market research without having to waste time, money, and effort, especially if you're a small coach or consultant that is looking to create a business that's profitable and enjoyable. The first thing that you want to do is understand and study your competition. Who is already taking money from your future clients? How are they taking that money? And if you can replicate that, you're already halfway through to understanding what it is that your customers, your future customers are going to be looking for. Because why invent mediocrity when you can copy genius? But what I'm saying here is don't go and copy word for word everything that your competitors are doing, all right? Because your competitors have been there before you and they already likely have done all this target research. All that you can do is refine it and personalize it to your own. So what you want to do is visit their websites, look at their social media profiles, and do it with maybe 3 or 5 of your competitors. And once you've seen what it is that they're doing, you want to do it in your own way, your own flavor, okay? And take special note of usually the words that they're using to describe their target market. What are they calling them, and what are these people responding to? All right. And on their websites, they clearly have the client pain points that they've identified, and how are they expressing this in the words that the target market is already understanding. All right. And if you really want to see how they're helping, your target market, you look at their client testimonials and whatever case studies or success stories. In the testimonials, the clients are expressing the pain points in their exact words. And if you can tap into, the way they actually spell out their problems, you, my friend, would actually be able to speak to them in a way that they actually understand. And then you can then just look at whatever the packaging and the pricing that they're offering, because this then allows you to enter the market in a way that is actually competitive and in a way that your target audience is already expecting to pay for the kind of services that you are providing. Because once you start collecting all this information, you're likely going to start noticing patterns around your competitors. You know what I mean? And the one thing is, once you can recognize these patterns, you can now start injecting your own flavor in the way that you're doing things. That way, you are not just being a mere copycat, but at least you've got some sort of starting point, and then you can perfect what they are already doing, because your competition is already targeting the client that you want to be demanding money off of a little bit later on. So you can notice what sort of gaps they're missing in the whole process, and you can actually start taking advantage of those gaps. All right. And you can also see, maybe question whether your competitors talk about the same sort of pain points. And if they do, it's likely there's a clue that that's the most significant pain point that your client has. And then you want to see how you can actually start providing that service and bridging that gap cheaper, better, faster. And also you want to finally, see if there's a sort of standard result or standard expectation within the marketplace that your competitors' clients are actually talking about in their testimonials. And then you can actually see if this could be the starting point of your service delivery. Because if people are talking about certain things that they have achieved from working from your competitor, then that now becomes the base level of what you're going to be providing to your target audience there. But I want you to remember this: studying your competitor is not about copying what they're doing, but rather just giving you some sort of insight as to what's already working in your marketplace. All right. Like I said, why invent mediocrity when you can copy genius? Yes, you can go out there and try and invent something by yourself, but your competitors have been working on this for a very long time. All you're just doing is leveraging their insights, but also putting in your own look and feel of it. Because if you don't do that, then you're just going to be yet another Me Too agency or coach or consultant out there, which doesn't really help you separate yourself. You now get compared, to in terms of price, and the only way you can win that race to the bottom is actually lowering your price, and you wouldn't want to win that race. Okay, and once you've already looked at your competitors, the second thing you could do is actually interview your target market. You already have customers that you're working with right now. Why did they buy from you? What did they see in you that would actually get them to want to buy from you over and over and over and over again? Because when you conduct target market research, you know what I mean? You do interviews, and most of them from the people that are already buying from you. What have they seen in you that they keep wanting more of? So conducting target market research interviews must be one of the most effective ways for you to uncover all that you need to know about your ideal clients. All right. However, a few small to medium businesses find this difficult if they don't yet have an existing pool of clients to whom they can talk to. So if you have a new business, maybe this can be a little bit difficult, but this doesn't have to stop you. There are a lot of ways for you to conduct these interviews, all right? You can ask maybe family and friends if they know anyone who fits your target market profile and whom they can actually introduce you to. Or you could actually go onto places like Facebook where your target market already is in existence, and you can actually find these groups online and ask your potential clients if they can help you maybe formulate a name for whatever it is that you're creating, just to get them involved in the way that you're doing. Or you can do what in the marketing circles is called the curious student approach, where you know that these people are already paying your competitors for the same product that you are providing, and then you can offer to give them that product either for free in exchange for a testimonial or for a review. Okay. And during that time, and how during that process, you now have access to the people that are already paying for that service, and they're giving you first hand knowledge and information of what they would look at when they're looking to consume products like yourself. So you could also answer a few queries on Quora or places like that, and this could be helpful. And you can actually reach out to a lot of people that are asking all these questions online. And you can also join maybe networking groups or attend networking events where you actually know your target market already sort of hangs out. All right. It's actually surprising how many people struggle to ask for help. However, unless you actually start reaching out to people and engaging in conversations, you won't understand what your ideal target audience is actually looking for. You can't guess what they want. You literally have to go out and ask for that sort of information. And I encourage you to join online groups and forums. Even though I'm not on social media, my team is. We're always connecting with these communities and finding out what people are asking. And there's also places on the internet like Quora or Answer the Public where people go on these platforms to ask for information, because people are coming to the internet to get information. And if you then become the brand that provides them with that knowledge, then they get to know, like, and trust you. And people do business with those they know, like, and trust. So as I mentioned earlier, you can join online Facebooks or forums such as Quora. And if you're maybe in the travel business, there's places like TripAdvisor where people are asking what are the best locations to go to. You can literally get a lot of leads and clients by just answering those questions there. And those are great places for you to actually start conducting, targeted market research. And this is because these groups of people are, where people go in to seek information. And when you see the same questions being asked repeatedly, it's a pretty good indication that there's a need for somebody to solve that problem. And that's where you put your entrepreneurial hat on to solve your clients' sort of problems. And if you're going to use this strategy, so be sure to join a few groups, a few forums where your target market is going to be, not where your peers are, not where your other people that are in the same industry congregate, because that's what you end up doing. You just end up being in groups where other coaches and consultants are, not exactly where your target market is. Be in the space where you're answering questions to people that have got money and are willing and able to actually buy from you after you've actually connected with them. Okay. And also, for you to save time, use the sort of search box in that online group or forum to narrow down the questions that are quite related to what it is that you're doing. All right. At the end of the day, if you just spraying and praying, people will also notice that you are not the actual authority that needs to be answering these questions. Okay. So sometimes you might not find these forums, but you can also look at case studies and maybe industry benchmarks or statistics, all right? Because it's essential for you to research maybe case studies and statistics when you're actually looking for where your target market has been and what they have done and what is now the sort of acceptable industry standard, because it would actually help you to actually size up your market, all right? Because if you don't know the statistics, how are you going to know if your target market is actually an addressable size that you actually need to spend time to go after? In Australia, I know for a fact that people that have earned between 200,000 and between 200,000 and 2 million, there's 875,000 businesses that are registered with the taxation office here in Australia. So I know that's a really good addressable market that I can spend all my life trying to reach out to those 875,000 people. If I just get 8 from that group, I would live pretty. Okay, so you need to know what is your addressable market and how many of those people are there, because there's so many micro markets these days that if you are not specific enough, you won't be able to speak to anyone. So when you have an idea of what sort of size your target market is, you'll be able to determine whether it's large enough for you to see some sort of suitable return for you to be profitable. Because there's no point in you becoming very proficient in maybe rubber designs when you know there's not a lot of people that are buying things in that sort of genre. All right, so you want to find case studies, you want to find statistics, you want to visit government website that actually track and do censuses of these key statistics in your own country and in your own region, and also maybe visit local city council, business chambers, who may actually have some statistics relevant to your local area. You need to know the addressable target audience. How much do you need to invest in order for you to reach out to these people? And finally, you can also find this type of information by maybe typing the words like case study or statistics after the name of your niche in Google. So you have to have an intricate understanding of what it is that you're going to be providing and how are people congregating on the internet to find information and services that pertain to that particular niche. And some places you can also go to is maybe your social media. So you want to analyze your social media insights, okay? If you've built up a bit of a following online already, find out amongst the people that are following you, who are they, and do they have friends that are also with a similar problem that they might have? Because if you've got a big following online already, then you could actually have valuable data about your target market that you can actually analyze, because your social media platforms, they all have insight dashboards which you can actually view. And if you've got a Facebook page, you can actually review the audience inside of your Facebook business account, and you can also get the profiles of the people who are actually following you. So you need to actually build up an audience first before this actually works, all right? But don't forget to also set up maybe your Google Analytics, because when people hit your website, you can actually then follow them with retargeting ads later on, and you can actually use these insights around your target market, including where your website visitors have come from, what platforms they were on before they visited your site, and where do they go to after. And just try and use this proprietary information to your own advantage. That way you can actually put your ads to or on those sites that they're coming from before they come to your website. Okay, and once you've got that, you want to just build smarter sales funnels so that your business starts operating on autopilot, because you never know what these people are coming to seek for. And if you can actually nurture them, they can now become customers that pay, stay, and refer. Because once you've got your target market in place, what would you do with more demand for your services than you can possibly handle? Would you maybe raise your prices? Would you maybe fire that lousy client? Or would you only start choosing projects that you absolutely love? Or would you actually expand your business? Because I kid you not, every coach or consultant or small to medium business that ends up working with us just dreams of that perfect customer that arrives from seemingly nowhere, already convinced that they want to buy. And when that inevitably fails, guess what they do? They just build a website, post a few memes on social media, and then they wait. Because I know and I understand, without a steady demand of excess buyers, you only have to now just accept work that comes your way at the price that wins the job, at the terms that have been set by the buyer. That's no way to live, man. Do you know what I mean? So you need to be getting potential ideal customers to come to you instead of you trying to find them. Okay. And if we work together, I'll definitely teach you how to earn trust before the sales process even begins, how to design a self-guided path so that your customers engage with you, so they get to know, like, and trust you. And then we'll help you build a sales funnel that actually fills itself and then respond effectively to the best opportunities in your business. I know that is something that would make it a whole lot easier for you to create a business that's profitable and enjoyable. Now, I digress. If you also want to maybe research where your target audience is, just create a Facebook group or a LinkedIn group or some sort of a community of your own. We already have our own community, the Live Long Business community. You can check it out, and see what we are creating for and relating to our audience, okay? Because one of the benefits of creating a group or a community of your own is that you can actually collect information about what your followers want, especially when they join. And when you set up your group, you want to add a few questions just so you can collect the right information, and to know that these are the right people that you want to work with. All right, so you want to ask them how long they've been in business, what industry they're in, what is their favorite thing that is related to your niche, and what is the biggest pain point that they would want solved immediately, something that relates to the services that you're offering. All right, and what is the most important thing that you want to know about your customers, and what sort of help would they be looking for, especially from a person like you. Because if you ask this type of questions to get information, you can also get to see their Facebook profile. You can also see where they're from, who they're affiliated to, and things of that nature. All right, so in a Facebook group or in some social media group, you can also run a poll just to get feedback and information, so you can keep writing out the profile of that target audience that you're looking for. Okay, and you can also get their email address, because once you've got an email from them, you can now start creating a nurturing system that you own. Okay, and once that is in play, you now have some sort of understanding of who your target audience is. Okay, and when people are writing to you, try and note what sort of words they are using to describe their pain. Because if you can articulate somebody's problem so much, and especially in their own words, they actually sort of assume you've got a solution to their problem. All right, so you want to use search engine keyword tools to find out exactly, are people using these words to to make search queries online. Because if you're trying to work out what sort of words might resonate better with your target market, then you can also use SEO keyword research tools to help give you sort of the answer. And these tools will actually help you work out what your target market may be more likely to search when it comes to your services. I'm going to give you our free keyword finder with this podcast. Because you are a valid listener of ours, I'm going to offer you our keyword finder for free. So the links that come with this podcast have our favorite SEO keyword tool, the Online Prosperity Keyword Finder. Okay, so it's just a simple Google tool that tells you how many times specific keywords and keyword phrases are used on Google on average, and the level of competition online for these keywords. All right, so the results appear directly in the Google search engine, and you can actually save them back and you can review later. So that is my gift to you. Check out the keyword finder so that you can actually find out exactly what your audience is searching for, and you can start writing content around that. You can start writing podcasts around that, any information that will actually help you reach that audience. Because if you understand what your audience is already searching for, it makes it super, super easy, for you to start writing to them and connecting with them in a way that you never thought was possible. Okay, so all this information is out there, and all this information is free if you just know where to look for. Okay, so like I said, with this podcast, we're giving you our Live Long Keyword Explorer, and with this free keyword tool, you can actually uncover the ideal keywords for your website content, Google Ads, and campaigns, and a whole lot more out there, so you can make informed decisions about your campaigns and maximize your success. All right, so be sure to check out the keyword finder so you can start driving more traffic and maximizing your search engine results. Right, so a lot of people are finding it difficult to connect with their audience, but if you use this Keyword Explorer, it is the perfect tool for any business that is looking to drive more traffic and maximize their search engine results. And it is a free tool. Like I said, it makes it fast and easy for you to find valuable keyword data for your website, Google ad campaigns, and a lot more. And it's all got accurate, up-to-date keyword volume and cost per click data. So get access to the tool right now. Click one of the links that has come with this podcast, and be sure to be able to find out exactly who your target market is and find out how you can best serve them. Because if you know who exactly your target market is, it actually makes your marketing super, super easy for you to be able to create for and relate to your audience. So there you have it. These are 7 simple ways for you to actually research your target market. I think there was 10, but I'm not quite sure. I don't know what methods you're going to use, but be sure to get access to the keyword research tool, the Live Long Keyword Explorer, which we have coming with this podcast here today. I don't know what you're going to do with this information, but I hope you will be able to actually find the target market that you need to be serving, so that you've got the right kind of people with the right kind of pain, and issued them the right product or service for the right payoff that they are willing and able to pay for. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, let's continue the conversation in the Live Long Digital community. Become a Live Long Digital community member today. This community is for ambitious entrepreneurs and small business owners with the drive to take control of the future of their businesses and achieve huge success without stress and overwhelm. As you heard, Prosper can help you by teaching you marketing strategies that work. So look no further than the Live Long Digital community of entrepreneurs and highly successful business owners. Join our community today. Find us on www.community.livelongdigital.com.au. Network with other driven entrepreneurs and find the expert guidance you need to take your business to the next level. www.community.livelongdigital.com.au.